I love how energetic it was, quite chaotic, which is just like Florida. So
It is very,
yeah,
it's very
good job, Coral.
It's
Thank
very
you.
much Miami style. I'm from the 305. I'm from FIU. And today we have Linda Nguyen. She is a University of South Florida alum. She's now an AI engineer at Microsoft. And she got really famous for her big tech guide and also getting 9 big tech offers in college, which is crazy. Like even for a Florida student, like this is crazy for us. And so I'm just gonna pin you if that's okay, Linda. And I just want you guys to, and I want you to just tell us like a little bit about yourself. Like why did you choose computer science? Where are you from? Like just a little bit.
Okay, so I'm Linda, and real name, Vietnamese name, legal name is Thảo Nguyên. So I love art. I've actually been drawing since I was 5 years old. So I thought I'm gonna go for an art major until one day I realized my true passion, which was money. So then, so then that's when I started to switch into CS because apparently everyone on the internet says that CS makes the most money, right? And then I applied to a lot of colleges in Vietnam, in Australia, in the US, and my SAT score was like in the top 1%. I think it was like 1460 out of 1600. I was actually an English major when I was in high school.
No way.
So
No
so
way.
so people are like, wow, like why are you going for CS, right? And yeah, here I am, because let's just be real, like being able to succeed in this major as a woman, someone's like in the minority, as someone from a very untraditional background, like I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud, more proud for the fact that I can share my story and I can prove that, hey, I'm here is possible.
Mm.
So yeah, I chose the University of South Florida because they gave me the most scholarship. So I
Top
had to
right
pay the
features.
least I had to pay the least amount of money.
Wow.
And and I mean the weather is very much close to Vietnam.
Mm.
So I'm like, yes, let's go to Florida.
Mm.
And yeah, love it.
I love it. Okay, so obviously you're not the typical USF student. You were a leader on campus. You were also a leader in the internet, and you graduated with 9 big tech offers, which is crazy. Could you tell us a little bit about what you did from like freshman year up to senior year so that you could make the most out of your college experience to get to that point?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So, when I was in high school, actually, I was really scared because I heard the dropout rate for computer science was quite high. So, I'm like, am I going to be able to survive college? So, when I was in freshman year, I just go to school, very standard. The first semester was actually spent in Vietnam because of COVID. Uh, killed it. 4.0 GPA. But it was just mostly school, and I learned uh, intro to programming and also foundation of engineering, which is basically just Python, very basic. And then in the summer, I went back to Vietnam. I did not have an internship offer, felt a little bit peer pressured because obviously all the international students actually they're very much prepared. They're going to have some internship offers, mostly from Vietnam, going back working for like the biggest tech companies in Vietnam, and I was okay. I was chilling. I love boba, so I went to drink boba almost every single day because it costs like $1 in Vietnam. And then during that time, I would just study, like learn how to code. I chose full stack engineering, and I chose a course from Udemy. I don't think it matters which course you take. It's just like, hey, just choose a path, right? And then just go for it. And then I study like 2, 3 hours every single day, which also means that you don't really have to study 12 hours per day.
Mhm.
Yeah, just enjoy it. I enjoy like building websites. I think um it's very important to build products, like build things before you're ready, and then you learn along the way. And
Mhm.
then, so that's my first year of college. And then second year, I felt a lot, very peer pressure, and my resume has almost nothing. So again, I have to fill up that resume in somehow, right? So then I start applying for leadership roles in college, and I'm like, oh, I'm so confused. Like, how am I supposed to lead other people? But yeah, I applied and I actually got into Google Developer Student Club. Now we call ourselves like Google Developer Group as a tech lead. And then I also got into SHIP, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, as a marketing director. It was really fun.
I love that.
Yeah,
You're an honorary Latina today, Linda.
I speak Spanish. Yo hablo español.
¡Oh, es verdad! Pero tú tienes que venir a Miami, me tienes que visitar. Me tienes que visitar uno de estos días.
Yeah, yo tengo muchos amigos Latinos Americanos.
Ah,
So like I would just
okay.
Duolingo the hell out of it. And then I would basically force like my friends to speak Spanish with me. And then they're like, first of all,
Mhm.
like some of them just doesn't even speak Spanish
Oh.
that well. And then the second is like I think they start to respond to me in English. So they kind of like get tired of me, but it's okay. Okay, so
Okay.
that's besides the point. But
Yeah.
okay, I think the moral of the story is that um if you want to study, if you want to learn a language, just join the club. Mostly people are welcome. It's a really good environment
Mhm.
to, learn new things. And especially because we're in America in such a diverse culture, right? It's very important to like for me, I educate myself a lot about the diversity, about the history, about how we come here, so that I can sympathize with more people. And that's my second year. And also, I becomes like a computer assistant at school. It was crazily competitive. Like, I think 200, 300 people applied for that same job and they only chose two people.
What?
And yeah, I was one of them. So I felt super lucky. Yeah, and then I got a job on campus that fills up my resume. I did some project. At that point, I was invited to make a website called Books Courses, which basically we use Puppeteer. Basically, like we just web scraped the the schedule so that anytime the student could not enroll in a class, right? We would basically try to just use a robot, look at that website, refresh every 1 minute so that immediately when one student just drop out, like we just immediately notify the students like, hey, come in.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we make that for free, but hosting it costs us like $12 a month. So yeah, and then then after that, I went to a career fair, and I was very lucky that I got two interviews, and then I received two offers out of that. So I think the second year was a very transformative years for me because I get to try a lot, and then I kind of realized the power of community, how when you are struggling, try to help others. Because through helping others, through being like a leader on campus, I actually hosted events, help like one student actually secure a full-time job, helps many students through my website. And, like when I was a tech lead at GDSC, help many students actually bring their ideas into reality, right? Teaching them some tech skills. And then through that I learned tech skills, I learned how to talk to people. And then that's it. When I go to career fair, right? They see me. They don't just see a piece of paper that was my resume. They see the real me, someone who's actually passionate about what she's doing. And then they gave me a chance. And then I only need that, right? I need the chance. That's it. The when I'm in the interview is all fair game. And
Mhm.
then I was able to prove myself. So I got an internship offer, the first one from Dell Technologies. And it was really nice. The project was crazily difficult, but the people are what makes it really memorable. I I got a return offer after Dell, but like I was a little bit of a higher like achiever, so I wanted something bigger than that because I want to just question myself like what is going to be my full potential. So I keep applying. I applied to like 200, 300s. Guess how many? interview I got. Coral.
I think I'm gonna say like 15.
I got like two.
Gag City.
I was like, what? I thought there's going to be more. I have two calls back. One was from Goldman Sachs, and
Oh,
then I passed the thing, but I did not
not bad though,
accept the off.
Linda. That's not
No,
bad.
I did not accept the offers because I was like Goldman Sachs was a bank, so I would rather still come back to Dell. But then on March, somehow I got an interview with Apple. I thought it was a scam at first because it just says something like hello from like a rectangle.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, this is a scam. But then I see the email. It was from someone with at apple.com.
Mm.
And then I realized it looks like a scam because I was using a Samsung phone. And then they don't render like the whole email format. When I open it with an iPad, like I can see like the whole fancy email format. So then I interviewed for Apple. It was crazy, 4 technical interviews. Somehow I passed, and the reason why I passed was because they was looking for a full stack software engineer. So they look at my resume, I got all they need. So, and then they test like all the skill sets of a full stack, right? First round was basically object-oriented programming and graph, and the second round was basically lead code and lead code hard. And error fixing bugs, finding bugs. The third round was database design. The fourth round was React Live coding. So it was crazily difficult. I did not do well in like all 4 rounds, but I did pretty good in all 4 rounds, right? I excel in 2 rounds, and yeah, I passed, which I do believe that is probably because the interview was so difficult that it was so hard for people to do well in all 4 rounds. And then I spent one summer in Apple was as a full stack engineer. And I was in the hardware team. It was very difficult because I need to learn about hardware and they expect me to do full stack. So they expect me to write tests, then write the back end, write the API, write the front end. Then after I was done, they asked me to write another front end. So it was like a crazily very stressful 14 weeks, and coupling with the fact that my team doesn't have a head count, so then I didn't get a return offer, which was a, I think it was a very devastated period of my life because I was like, it was a lot of self-doubt, right? At Dell, it was difficult, but at least I have a return offer. At Apple, it was difficult, and I tried so hard for nothing in return. So a very difficult time, and I had to go to therapy. I had to go to, actually take care of myself because at that time that's all I need. And I, of course, like after I got Apple, I think my resume is strong enough to get more interviews. I was interviewing with Notion as in for an internship when I was still at an intern at Apple, right? So more of the story is do it early. Even when I was working full-time at Apple, I already know, okay, I have to keep applying, right? The grind is not stopped yet. So I got the offer at Notions, but it was pretty late because Microsoft just got me first. So that's why here I am at Microsoft. So then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
after Microsoft I get like Meta, Amazon, Notions, and Intuit.
Wow.
So so
That's
yeah.
that's so inspiring. And I think the through line that I hear here is that if you want a life that most people want but can't like don't get, you have to do what most people don't do, right?
Mhm.
And Linda and I also we have like the same mentality of like we think like 2 years ahead of like what we have to do. And then like at the moment people are gonna call you crazy, but then once you make it, like you'll be surrounded by the people who are going to push you further and who are going to be in your corner for you to achieve your dreams. And I really resonate with that fact of like when you're struggling, instead of like staying stuck in your room, you give back to your community. And that's what you've been doing with, your community at USF with the tech lead and helping others. And I hope you guys get like a sense of this. Like when you're in your classrooms, when you're in your school, don't just go to class and go home. Actually give back. Like if you have a certain niche or something that you know a lot about, a subject matter expert in any type of technology, teach that to other people, or teach it to kids, or make content online. I love making content. That's my favorite way of teaching people. But like, you don't have to be a content creator. You can literally do something impactful in your campus community. One thing I do want to ask you, because I'm super curious about like what's the tech space like in USF. What are some things for students who like want to go to that school, and they want to get the most out of it? What are like clubs or communities or things that they should focus on? And what are some things that they should avoid?
Yeah, first thing first, I was not paid for USF, right? I
Okay.
was not paid by USF to promote our school. So I'm gonna do this for free
No,
because
yeah.
I can't.
No, this is
I
why you're not paid. You could say anything. I'm not
Yeah, no, I love
judging.
USF. I love USF actually. So we have a lot of tech clubs. SHEP was actually the biggest one, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and then we have ACM, Google Developer Student Club. We have SACE, Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers. We have NESPE for the National Black Engineers. Uh, Nat- National
What's
Society
that?
of Black Engineers. So then I feel like it's in US because I mean in USF because we have so many engineering students that we have so many tech clubs. First advice is just to pick one or two or three. You don't have to be the the leader right away. Just join their events. You're gonna make some friends, and uh talk to the people in the e-board, and then see which clubs that you like the vibe the most, and then would just apply, right? So apply from the director role. And then later on, when you feel ready, you can, or tech lead, or yeah, go for the VP roles. And then some people go as far as becoming the president of the club. That's really nice. Yeah, for things that you should avoid, I would say this is a very personal opinions. I feel like when I was at school, I start posting on LinkedIn. Yeah, even before so when I was in interview with Apple, I just thought, okay, I connected with my recruiter on LinkedIn, so I have to make my recruiter realize how good of a person I am. So then I talk, okay, I was in GDSC, thank you everyone, and oh, I got into a computer assistant with a very low percentage. Here's how you can do the same and something like that. So I basically just flex about what I have, right? And then I would say that I didn't even realize, but my friend told me that Linda, you know that a lot of people hate you, right? And then people are like, "Oh, oh, she's so annoying. Like she posts every day." And like that's not true. I don't post every day. You just see me all the time because I post a lot, right? More than normal people would. People would post on LinkedIn like 2 times per year or something, once per year. Uh, I'm very thrilled to announce that I have accepted an offer at this. I would like to thank my recruiters, my friends, and stuff like that. And uh, yeah, that's someone's you should avoid. Those who don't believe in you, people who give you just negative energies. And then, as Cora said, when you just do the crazy things that many people would not d willing to do, then you're going to be at the place where most people would not be. And even right now, I still have a lot of friends, not many friends actually, some friends who actually understand me, understand my craziness, can match my freak, and actually, you know, was there for me during hard times. So yeah, in conclusion, join the clubs, joins the community, be there for them. The community will be there for you. You should be there for them too. And also avoid those who just don't believe in you. That's fine, right? Nothing wrong with them. It's just that you're not gonna be my community, and that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's a very mature take, Linda. And honestly, I think 2026 like LinkedIn is like the it girl, because of Linda and then some couple other people that I've learned about. There's this hidden community of like LinkedIn educators, LinkedIn teachers, influencers, And now I'm just like, now the girls that have been posting, now we're like the cool girls. But before, I can relate to you, Linda. Like when I started posting, I was the only FIU girl posting on LinkedIn, and now we got like a couple of other girls posting. I'm just like, this is what I want to see. I want to see more girls posting online, teaching people, because it doesn't only not only does it place you as a subject matter expert, but you're also helping your community, and that's super nice. Um, one one last thing is, what's something I do want to like give plenty of time, because I know a lot of students here have a lot of questions for them to unmute themselves and ask any questions to Linda. But before we do that, for any student that's listening right now, what or for any like Florida student or any student that's in a state school, what's one thing that they should take away from your journey?
I would say that school doesn't matter that much. Yeah, it's you who matters, right? You have to create your own luck. I know that I know a lot of success stories about those who don't post online. So you don't have to post online if that's not your thing. A lot of students, they go to Rice universities, they go to Stanford. It does means that their resume actually hold a weight, right? It does means that they they don't have to do some extra thing in order for recruiters to just give them a chance. However, for me, I went to USF, which is a non-target school. So I have to do some extra things in order to get noticed by recruiters. So I would just say that it's okay if you are not in like of those Ivy Leagues of the top school, because at the end of the day, it's your grit that does matters, right? It's your community that matters. And to be honest, when I first came to USF, most Vietnamese students they would go home because it was very hard to find an internship or a job, especially because CS is very competitive. So, if there's no one to teach you stuff, if there's no one to represent who you are, then be that person. So, yeah, I was one of the first Vietnamese students to get a big tech internship that season. Like most people did not have any. And then they would go back to Vietnam, which is nothing wrong with that. They would go back to Vietnam, they would have an internship. But then I actually get surprised. I'd never thought of myself as someone that could represent like women's studying in Florida from Vietnam to reach this amount of success. But I just keep doing what I'm passionate about. And somehow I was able to create a community around me who has the same dream, has the same passion. Sometimes they even have the same background as someone who's very artistic, as someone who doesn't really code from when they were 4 years old, but still be able to succeed as an engineer. Um, so yeah, I want to just get that message across that um, yeah, if you can create your own path.
I love that. I love that, Linda. And we love you here in FIU. You're kind of like a mini celebrity for us here too. Have you ever been to Shell Hacks? Have you ever visited us? I think you did. You did Shell Hacks
I
1 year.
three times,
You've
three
been to
times.
Shell. Yes. So Shell Hacks is
I
like
went.
the Florida hackathon, where all the Florida schools and a bunch of schools from all over the United States come to visit us here at FIU. It's usually in September. We actually have our 10-year anniversary this year. So, and Miami's getting hype. Like we had Sergey Brin came to Miami yesterday at a hackathon. Like if you guys want to know Miami Tech, follow me. I have all the inside scoop and the news, because we have a lot of billionaires coming to the city and coming to Florida. Just crazy, crazy. Okay, guys, so I know I have you guys muted, but I'm gonna take this first question from Tavlin Kaur. She says, "Is it a good time to start posting on LinkedIn, or is it a lost opportunity?"
Nothing is a lost opportunity. It's just basically like, oh, is it too late to invest in this stock? Yeah, I'm like, it's never too late, right? Like, if you were like 10 years ago, you should probably invest in Bitcoin. But right now, if you is I don't know if it's a lost opportunity, but there's always some other stocks that coming up. I think the moral of the story is do it. If you've never start posting, right? How would you know? Why are you scared before you start doing it? Go for it.
Okay. Akash, I'd love for you to unmute yourself. I know you had a question here.
Okay, I think I have a pretty good question from Akash. So if you want to just unmute yourself, you can do that.
You said 1 sec. Okay. Hey.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. If you don't unmute yourself fast enough, then we're gonna move on to
No, no, no.
some. Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Um,
Sorry, I had to move spaces. Am I audible?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so again, I know that you're a great speaker. You come with great energy. I've seen that on your LinkedIn profile posts and everything. But one thing I really am struggling with is just owning the room, especially in behavioral interviews and making a great impression. I recently had an experience where I think I didn't perform well, which obviously caused me to drop the bag. But really, how would you like, could you share like the formula or the book that you follow in owning the room in a behavioral interview?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I love reading this book called How to Talk to Anyone. I actually read that book quite religiously. I have that book in my house and I would revisit it like every now and then. So go read the book and about how to control the room. Actually, first, I think humor is a really good thing. So I try to make the interviewer smile at least like two, three times during the interview. So I would start by saying like, okay, first, thank you so much for interviewing me today. I know usually you're an engineer solving the world's next biggest problem or something, but now you're here, giving me a chance to see if I'm going to be a great engineer for your team. And I pause, and then they're gonna smile and they're gonna like, thank you. Happy to be here. And then I'm like, yeah, first, I'd like to introduce about myself. I'm Linda. I do this, and I know your company does this, and which really does resonates with my core value, right? And yeah, a big fun fact is that I also draw. So then I'm going to just put one thing that I draw to the camera. I'm gonna do that later because I did not prepare that. But I always prepared one canvas just right next to me so that I can show it to the camera. And they're like, wow. And I'm like, yeah. And yeah, so see, like they smile twice during just the introduction. So first impressions matters a lot. And then also I believe that I should be the one creating the energy. So some interviewers are actually really good at controlling the room, giving out positive energies. But some interviewers, especially those at Amazon's, they don't have any emotions on their face. They're just like, no matter how much I smile, they're going to keep it like very emotionless, right? But I'm like, that's fine, right? I should be the one who create the positive energies in the room, whether that means smiling, speaking positively of myself, positioning myself in a way that, brings the positive energies that basically position myself as someone bigger, like as someone who's actually knows her shit. Okay, so yeah, in an interview, I feel like a lot of people are trying to prove that they're smart, right? Which is really good. That's something you have to do. But there's other things that most people don't really focus on is to prove to make them like you as a person. So when I walk out of an interview, I don't want them to just think, okay, she's a programmer, she's a coder, which is good, right? Everyone's a programmer. But then I want them to know, oh yeah, she's Linda, she's pretty cool. She makes me smile. And sometimes they would not really remember exactly what I said, right? We actually forgot a lot. Like but they're gonna remember how I make them feel. I make them feel important. I make them smile. And yeah, people love to smile as well. If, I just think, okay, this is just a conversation for like an hour, an interview, right? If if I can't create a good impression to them, then how are we going to work 8 hours a day together, 5 days a week? So that's something that I also really put a great importance on, which is make them like you, not just as the programmer, but you as a person. So yes, thank you. That's my answer. And I see a lot of good questions,
I
so
know
I
there's
think
so many, so many.
Somi,
Okay. Well,
Somya, feel free to unmute yourself.
make sure you guys are able to unmute yourselves. Let me do like,
Yeah,
let me see.
it's called the book is called How to Talk to Anyone. So let me just type that out.
Here you go.
Hi, is it my turn to speak? I was unmuted.
Oh,
Hello.
I think it was Samya Ganesh, and we can
Yeah,
have you
I'm
next.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Hi,
we'll
Linda.
have Asma next.
Yeah, hi. So your journey is actually really inspiring, and I'm deeply impressed by the work that you have been doing. It's great to know that, you have uh, followed your passion and you even shifted from English majors to coding, which is really inspiring. I just wanted to know, like, how did you prepare yourself for these tech companies and how did you, like, crack lead code, apply, and everything at the same time?
Yeah, I so people usually ask me like, how do you keep your work-life balance? And I'm like, I don't. Yeah, not to say that you should do the same, but I'm just trying to say that it's a lot of work. So if you feel like, oh, how did she do it at the same time, right? I'm just saying that it's really hard. It's really tough. I struggled. I don't always do everything at the same time. So I would just prioritize. So I remember when I was interviewing with Apple. So what's one thing with Apple is that they're very secretive and every team is going to interview yourself like a little bit different. The thing is that they don't even tell you like what they're interviewing for. So at that time, my goal was to prepare for everything and prepare for the unexpectedness. So I would study for like 10 hours every day. Basically, I just wake up and I study. Oh, I went to campus and then I study and then I go home and sleep. Rinse and repeat. Yeah, so how I prepare myself is that I have some people, I know some people who interviewed for Apple before, and then I would come, I ask them for their experience, and then I would basically just study everything under the sun. And then I schedule mock interviews, at least 1 to 2 mock interviews every single day with my friends, and I tell them, hey, ask me anything, right? I don't care. Ask me anything, prepare me for the unexpectedness of the interview at Apple. And yeah, that's how I prepare for Apple. For Goldman Sachs, for example, I think it's pretty straightforward. There's a question bank on LeetCode. Go do it. But yeah, it's actually very normal what I do. I go to class. I actually like to go to class. I actually feel like some class are very important. For example, like operating system, database design, uh, algorithm, data structures. So actually go to class and learn. I got asked the same question in interviews too. And because I actually focused when I was in class, I was able to answer the questions. Go build projects, make friends. And one of very good thing that I tell people is go have fun with your friends, because when you're able to make your friends laugh, it means that it means that you bring good energy, right? Now you can definitely do exactly the same thing and make the people who interview you smile as well. So that's a good thing. Everything is a practice. And take care of yourself. Know that um you know, like I only shows the good sides on the internet. That hey, I struggle too, and how to prepare for your interview is basically just knowing the format the company's gonna go for, prepare for it. And, I like this quote. They say that try your best, but expect the worst. And I think that's normal. Yeah. Is things don't go your way and that's life and that's fine. And yeah, try to know that I'm human and you're humans. I'm not perfect. And a lot of the things I achieve is probably also attributed to luck. Yeah, like I'm real. Like I'm not gonna say I'm a genius, right?
No, yeah.
Is a lot of it is luck. A lot of it is privileges. So Yeah, keep it real, be grateful, try your best. That's probably the best answer that I could give.
Oh yeah. Love that. Love that. Okay, Asma.
Hi, nice to meet you, and thank you for all the insights you've been giving today and for inviting me to this event. I didn't know that it was happening. I got personally invited, so um, I'm grateful for that. Uh, my question is, so you mentioned lead code a couple times. So how common is lead code in interviews? And like, has any big company that you've interviewed used LeetCode, and how did you go about studying for LeetCode? What was your best technique, best website, things like that? And besides LeetCode, what do you think was the main reason, or maybe one to three reasons why you were chosen versus other candidates for a particular role, whether that be at Microsoft or somewhere else? Did they, because sometimes like when I get offered a role, I ask them like what made me stand out? Why did you guys choose me? And they usually tell me or they just disclose it during the interview. So it's interesting and insightful for other students to know.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. So I think the first thing is lead code. Is actually very popular. Most companies use lead code. I think is probably becoming less and less popular because people kind of realize that, hey, this is not the skills that you use from day to life. But I think the point of lead code is just to test how strong you are in terms of data structures and algorithm and just how smart you are. And just the fact that you sit down and actually learn like 200 lead code questions also shows that you're dedicated. So I think that's the reason why people use lead code. It's very popular. I use Neat Code, so it starts with an N, Neat Code, which I believe that most of you know about. So there's Neat Code 75 or a Neat Code 150, which is like the most popular question. How I prepare for it, I would really just first thing first, learn the basics, learn the data structures, learn the algorithm, do things topic by topic. But then the best thing you can do is probably just to mock interview a lot. So when I was intern at Apple, I actually every weekends, as a nerd, I would just talk to my friends and we would schedule like mock interviews, like 1 to 2 mock interviews. And yeah, and then they could ask me anything. And I would not even know what data structures and algorithm that is. I would just, so it's very much exactly like how it goes out in an interview. You don't really know, you don't really expect that. And yeah, and then being able to just walk through my thought process with my friends, come up with a solution pretty much on the spot teaches me quite a lot about how to think out loud, how to go step by step. Either that is first come up with a brute force and then be able to explain the time complexity, be able to say that, okay, this is not the most optimal solution. So let's use a different data structures. Let's use a different algorithm, walk through, and then when they say, okay, this is good, you can code it out, actually code it out, and then walk through the code. What is the new time complexity? Okay, is there any way I can basically make this even more efficient? And then test, right? Testing, and then either is happy path is not so happy path where uh, the input is like crazily big or is like a no or something, and then walk through the stress test case and something like that. Sometimes you walk away and sometimes I would not be able to finish the coding part, but then I was like, okay, if I have more time, this is how I'm going to do it. And yeah, sometimes it also means that being able to draw a graph out, or recursion, draw like how you're going to execute it. And I think that's what matters, right? In coding interviews, sometimes like it's not even just finishing the coding part. I feel like a lot of my friends told me that they finished everything perfectly and they did not get a callback. That never happened to me. Probably because during lead code, they don't just test if you finish the coding part. They also test if you are a good communicator, if you're able to explain your thought process, right? So treat it as like a teamwork. Sometimes I would ask the interviewer, what do you think, right? And just treat them as like a co-workers, explaining them through your thought process and like, okay, so what do you think is, is the more efficient data structure? And sometimes they're like, no, I'm not going to answer that. And I'm like, sure, okay, I'll do it myself. Um, yeah, so that's how I would approach lead code. About the reason why they chose me, I asked the same question to my manager when I had my Apple, and he said that we don't expect everyone to be good in everything, because and then we would know which each candidate is really good at some specific part, either that's back end or front end. And I do believe I was chosen because probably because I do quite well in the first round, which is object-oriented programming, and then database design. And then the two other rounds, actually, I did quite bad at art coding, but I just tell them that, hey, I don't remember how to code in React, right? If I were you, I mean, if I was just doing it normally, I would actually visit my past free art project, and then I would learn the structures again, and then I would have like some like boilerplate code first before I do it. And then the engineer was like, wait, I would do the same, honestly, right? And then so just being real with the recruiters, with the people. And then he said that, okay, just treat me as a library, right? If you don't know anything about the syntax, I'm here. So then it's just through being honest and then figure out recently, okay, figure out like how to do the interview. And I think like the last minutes, I'm like, oh my, I'm so sorry. I know I didn't do so well, but I want to prove to you that I can code. Is it okay for me to, share my screens and share my past React project? So I share it. I was able to just NPM, like run that thing. And then they asked me some questions like, okay, why did you use this use state place in here? So yeah, I would say that's why I get chosen because I show initiatives, right? I don't just answer the questions. I sometimes the answer is just I don't know, right? Sometimes the answer is just like from my understanding, I think I've learned some similar knowledge. And then would you be able to explain like the concept to me, right? In like simple words. And then it's also like, okay, although I don't know the terms, I actually done something very similar in the past, right? Be honest with them, help them understand your thought process, and show initiatives. So I think one of my friends even told me that the recruiters want to ask about behavioral question first and then go to lead code. And my friend's just like, I want to clear out the lead code path first, right? I want to do it first before I show the behavioral part. And yeah, the recruiter basically accommodates that. So I think like through the interview, they were testing you more than just coding. They were actually testing if they want to work with you or not. I think that's the reason why. Okay, next question.
We have Angel. I've been trying, girl, you have so much sauce. I've been trying to answer some that are in the chat, but let's do Angel next.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for your time and for being here with us. My name is Angel. I'm a business analytics major at FIU. And I wanted to ask, do you think networking was one important factor of getting all those opportunities that you got? And if so, how do you do it? Like, is there any type of strategies that you use?
Yeah, so your question is working experience important? And I would say it's quite important. It's very important. So my first job again was a computer assistant in college. Uh, Getting it for the first time was quite difficult, and I only got it because I applied for a tech director role before, and why would they choose me? I have zero experience. But then they like me when they interviewed me, so that's why they give me another chance when I apply for computer assistant role. Yeah, it was more like a help desk job, but it does give me some kind of experience before I go for another thing, which for Dell, right? Becoming a software engineer intern. And then later on, I become like a teaching assistant in college. And that set me up for software engineer at Apple, right? Like they're not gonna give like a sweet internship to someone who probably doesn't know what they're doing. And I say that sometimes some students they don't need the experience to do it, right? Some are just talented, but then how do you prove that? Like there's not much way you can prove that you know what you're doing, right? But if you have experience, you have work experience, like the recruiters just tend to trust you more and then give you that that chance. So I would say that, yeah, and then the fact that I heard like getting an interview at Microsoft was very difficult, but I got it. I do think it's probably because, well, I got a FANG internship, right? So then they just look at me differently. Does it mean that I'm smarter than everyone else? It's not. It doesn't mean that, right? Some people are super smart. They just was not lucky enough. They just didn't get the chance to prove themselves, right? So then this is when experience just sets you apart. The fact that I don't go to, so some people actually don't need experience. They go to Stanford, they go to Harvard, they go to MIT, and then, just from that fact, they get a big tech internship like immediately. So just think about it, like what sets you apart, right? For me, it's probably not my school. So my work experience was probably what set me apart. So yeah, working experience is quite important. Try to find it, and it's okay if you don't land something big from the start. Just land some help desk job. That's something. IT job. There's something. Yeah.
Okay, great. Anna Fio. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
Yeah, my name's Anna Pyo.
Anna.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Where are you
uh-huh.
from?
From Myanmar.
Ooh,
Oh,
Mhm.
very nice.
Yeah, I am a big fan of Linda on LinkedIn. hmm
I can't
So,
believe it.
I wonder, did you try to get referral to land those big tech internships? How did you try it?
Oh yeah, so I actually got a referral
Mm.
for Meta. So I think
Uh,
like I got the interview because I got the referral. I try to get the referral a lot, but sometimes like it's just not realistic. Right now I think it's easy for me to get referrals, probably because I'm quite visible on LinkedIn and I have a lot of friends in the industry. But actually most of the offers I get, I think all the offers I most of the offers I get was not from referral.
mhm.
But there are other things you can do. For example, just go to career fairs. Again,
Yeah.
right? If your resume is sometimes a piece of paper, it is not enough to convince the people to give you a chance. So then go to the career fair, actually prepare and ask good questions, show who you are as a person, show your passions, show your project. The worst questions you can ask in the career fair is what is your company doing? And is there any internship open? That could be that is the question that you should be just ask ChatGPT, right? Ask online, right? Come there, ask actual like impactful questions, right? Show them that you're actually interested. So I would have like Excel sheets. I prepare like my knowledge about the company. I prepare
Mhm.
the fun facts. I read several articles about them, and I try to find the connections between my value and their value, right? As I say something along the lines of I love innovations. I know you guys have done these kind of innovations, right? If they do
Mhm.
some AI projects, I'm like, I've done this like AI project where I use these kind of same technology, right? Is this kind of skills that you guys need in the company? So do a lot of homework. Reversals does help. I don't feel like it helps as much anymore, especially for big tech, uh,
Yeah.
because the fact that we have like hundreds of thousands of employees, referrals just doesn't carry as much weight as it was before. But then, for example, for smaller companies, right, like
Mhm.
referrals does hold much more weight.
Mhm.
So that's why we should network. And when I say
Yeah.
networking, actually just go out there, make friends, learn about people, ask actual questions, show that you're actually interested, right? And then the referral just happen